Now let's move to the next presentation. That's by Dr. Lloyd Hambia for Lake Tanganyika Science Advisory Group. And I invite Ross to share the Word document for Lake Tanganyika Science Advisory Group.
Okay, thank you. So good afternoon and good morning for others. Like my name has been said, I'm Lloyd Hambia. I work for Frankfurt Zoological Societies and Sumbu Tanganyika Conservation Program as Senior Technical Advisor on CBNRM issues. At this point, I'm going to make my presentation in my capacity as Vice Lead for the Lake Tanganyika Scientific Advisory Group. I wish we were sharing more than 2 objectives, but then because of the limitation that has been granted or provided to us as a guideline, we'll go ahead with the 2. The first objective being carrying out a rigorous and comprehensive inventory of research that has been done so far. And this in principle will help us to have a whole list of what research has been done and what research would actually need to be done. This we hope to do by way of interacting with researchers on the lake, either through questionnaires or in-person interviews, so that we could get this kind of information on the table. Our outcomes in this regard would be coming up with a database of research that has been done, and then also having a comprehensive list of monitoring infrastructure that is sitting along the shores of Lake Tanganyika in the 4 riparian countries. This would also help us to understand the capacities of our laboratories along the shorelines, to see what is missing in them and what we actually need in order to conduct the much desired research. In terms of monitoring, this would take the form of periodic reviews. Time and again, on a regular basis, we relook at what is available and what is cropping up as we all understand that, you know, times in which we are quite dynamic. Times are changing day by day, so new areas might actually crop up as we go. So in terms of resources that are required here, obviously would require human, material, and financial resources in order for us to accomplish this objective. The second one is coming up with the Lakewide standardization monitoring tool. This would be a tool that would be fully appreciated by the 4 countries that share the waters of Lake Tanganyika. And in terms of our approach on this one, this would take the form of a comparative analysis of existing national and regional monitoring tools. We understand very well that individual countries obviously already have something that they may be using, but would appreciate if we can, in one way or the other, harmonize the tool that we are going to use to apply whatever might be agreed upon. We also look forward to designing particular standards, benefiting from inputs coming from the countries that share the resource. In terms of outcomes, here we anticipate a standardized Lakewide monitoring tool, and of course, results of the pilot that would do in terms of monitoring to show us the kind of results that are expected. In terms of monitoring, obviously here we expect to have a review of the tool itself. When we've piloted it, we see some of its weaknesses and strengths and see how best we can build on it and make it more applicable in our situation. Required resources in this regard would be the current monitoring tools that exist. Would need to have a look at those and analytically run through them, see what sort of lessons we could pick from there. And then we also feel there's need to have qualified personnel. This could be a challenge in some of the countries. And so this is quite some important resource that we need to invest in. And then we also need to look at research laboratories that are functional with equipment that is recent, equipment that is able to deal with research as it stands. So having said what I have said, I think these are the two objectives that Lake Tanganyika Scientific Advisory Group will submit for now for further discussion. Thank you so much, Zeph. Over to you.
Thank you, Dr. Hambia, for the presentation. And I invite any questions regarding the 2022 objectives. A lot has been focused on monitoring that is also being shared in the chat there, and also on research station, how to identify the functioning status and bridge some of the gaps that are leading to incapacitation. I see here in the chat we have Yepe with regards to Lake Tanganyika. Then what are the ongoing initiatives such as LATAFIMA activities? I know we have LATAFIMA and LATAWAMA, but Dr. Hambia, if you could just take 30 seconds to explain briefly about any ongoing projects now.
Thank you so much. I have heard about LATAFIMA, and so far they have started engaging in management aspects of the lake. And at this point in time, I would say they are more at the level of creating a baseline for most of the activities that are planned under the project. Of course, we also have a few undertakings under supervision of the LTA, but then I would comfortably say there has not been consistency in terms of maybe monitoring of specific parameters by individual countries. Some countries may be ahead of other countries, so that definitely requires to be revisited so that we move at the same pace and the database are getting rich at the same level so that we can appreciate the status of the lake as a whole.
Thanks.
Can I ask a question? Can I ask a question, Sepp?
Yes, yeah.
Thank you very much. Just to follow up on that, is there no protocol or memorandum of understanding or some kind of agreement among the riparian countries in Lake Tanganyika for sharing data? Thank you.
Thank you so much. Under LTA, there was actually a regional database that was created to handle catch assessment survey data. But then at the time that this was supposed to be rolled out, I think the rolling out was not actually successful, because if I remember so well, as Zambia, we may have made attempts to share our data, but then this did not actually continue for long. So those protocols may be there, but follow-ups have been very poor because of obvious things such as resources with regards to finances to support the collection of the data itself and the maintenance of the database.
Thank you, Dr. Hambia. I hope you've given your best answer to Yepe in terms of what was planned and what did not take place. So that presents some gap that needs to be bridged. And that's one of the functions of the Tanganyika Science Advisory Group, to help bridge some of those highlighted gaps. Also in the chat here, there's a comment by Eric Brown. Is there scope for assembling publications and reports in an online library so all can have better access to prior work? This data, although sparse, can be key to understanding a rapidly changing world. And I see Ted has provided response that yes, one of our major programs, information, has a sub-program that intends to build a clearinghouse for as much African Great Lakes publications, white stock gray papers, data, it is in one place. It is going to be a huge effort. This is a huge priority and also fits in the overall objective of increasing information exchange freely. And I think I would echo Ted's comments. We are already looking into that through a number of means, including some discussions with the ISD. We can champion this.